Welcome back to another episode of Just a Thought. Today, we are going to be talking about The Bridge Kingdom by what's her name? Danielle Jensen.
Danielle.
That's her name, right?
Yeah, you did it, yeah.
Danielle Jensen. I have a lot of feelings about this. Honestly, this has to be one of my favorite reads of this year. Maybe my entire life, but
Whoa. Whoa. Big statements.
it was just so good. Oh my God, I loved it so much. Anyway, okay, but before we start, I have to point out that this is a spoilery podcast. So if you haven't read The Bridge Kingdom and you haven't read The Traitor Queen, you do not want to listen to this podcast because the whole thing is just going to be spoilers. We're talking about everything, both books.
Unless you don't care about spoilers.
That is true. If you just want to listen to a good story, a good little shit talking on these books, then enjoy this podcast. Also, before we begin, I'm going to go ahead and throw out a little, what's it called? What's that saying for when you shout yourself out?
Self-plug?
Not promo. Self-plug? Maybe that's
like shameless plug?
Shameless plug. There we go. A little shameless plug here. So, Ellie, let's go ahead and start with you. Where can we find you?
So, you can find me on everything as Red Ellie Gamer, but that is REDELLIE GMR. And you can find me on Instagram and Twitter, or you can go to redelliegamer.com, and that's where you can get links to absolutely everything. And what about you?
I'm going to try and not mess this up this time because last time I completely butchered it. Let's see. Instagram is at Corrine_Thorn. And I'm on TikTok as well at Corrine.Thorn. I should really change them, but I'm lazy, so this is what we got. We also have a YouTube channel. It's Just a Thought Podcast. I'll have everything linked somewhere so you guys can follow us on all the social platforms and just figure out the rest. All right, and without further ado, let's go ahead and start talking about The Bridge Kingdom.
Let's get.
Do you want to start us off?
Right. So would we just be like,
oh, you know what?
At you.
Let me read the little blurb of the book first. I found this on Goodreads. Well, this is on Goodreads. How do you even use Goodreads? I don't even know. Do you use Goodreads?
I have a very loose understanding of how it works. It seems like you either fully understand every mechanic in it, or you are you read it sometimes when it comes up in Google.
Yeah, that's literally it. I literally found this on Google too. Yeah, okay, so it says, somebody blurbed it and said it's a heart-pounding romance and intense action wrapped in a spell-binding world. I was hooked from the first page. The summary of the first book. A warrior princess trained in isolation, Laura is driven by two certainties. The first is that King Aaron of the Bridge Kingdom is her enemy, and the second is that she'll be the one to bring him to his knees. Oh shit, girlfriend! All right, listen. The start of this book, I was like, okay, we're starting off fucking strong with this book.
Starting off real strong. Yeah. That was one of the things that concerned me the most whenever of course it's the thing that concerned me the most. I thought we were about to go on a journey to love a woman that just murdered all of her sisters, and I was like, I don't know if I can do this. I was like, I think this is gonna, you have to work real hard to validate this choice.
It honestly started off so innocent. It was just her at
in her pink silks.
Yeah, on a balcony overlooking the desert, and then all of a sudden she's at a dinner table murdering her sisters.
Unbelievable.
Oh shit. Okay.
Yeah.
There's 12 of them. She murdered 12 of her sisters.
Yeah.
I was like, okay. Shook. And when she looked at her father and she was like, hey, it's me. yeah, I'm gonna be the one
I'm gonna
to
be the one.
help you.
Oh my god, and it's amazing as well how like once you learn the truth, how a certain like callous looking action was actually one of like deep affection, where she picked Marilyn's head
Yeah,
up out of the bowl and wiped it clean. Like, because I mean, it seems
yeah.
like you can see that in a horror film or like some sort of awful fantasy where they like some bitch just walks over and like, you know, swipes blood off or something. Like, you can see it being in an evil light as well. And I was like, that is so cold. I don't even know why it's cold, but it is. But then she was just like, "Nah, I'm just gonna save you from drowning after I poisoned you."
Literally. So, I, if you're listening to this podcast, you obviously know that she started off poisoning her sisters. And
Mm.
when we're reading this in the moment, you're like, oh my God, she just killed all of her sisters just so
Yeah,
she could be the one to
to be queen.
ruin this kingdom. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but later on, you find out that she actually didn't poison them. She didn't kill them.
Well,
She
she did
freed
poison
them.
them.
She did
She
poison them. She
she poisoned
drugged
them
them.
just a little.
Just a little,
Just a
tiny guy.
reasonable dose of poison. It's fine.
You'll be fine.
You'll just wake up
But
surrounded by burning buildings and corpses. It's okay.
yeah. So she poisoned them. And she was like, no, no, no. Like, it's okay. Just burn the building. It's fine. And she's just like praying that they wake up in time so they don't burn alive.
Yeah, can you imagine? Oh my god.
So she gets taken away and she's riding through these villages, which this is very important for later on. Was it
Mm.
book 2 or later on in the first book? Where she's like riding through the villages and
It's like really late in the first book. Yeah.
all the people are like waving at her and like so happy to see her in the carriage.
Mm.
And she's like tossing coins to them.
Yeah, but they also like made the point of making it look like it was super desolate, that it wasn't like the
Yeah,
thriving village that like Maradrina is. And I was
which is
whenever that came out, I was like, those bastards were so clever. Like
mm-hmm,
so clever because they raised her in just the most impossible form of isolation. But
mm-hmm.
I still was just absolutely shocked by that. And I thought that was like really well done. Like Danielle Jensen really has a way of setting up certain plot devices. Like even if I don't like the plot device, she has a really strong way of setting up a lot of them. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I agree.
So
And
actually,
her
that made
father.
me. Oh, what a
You go
dude.
first. We'll talk about him later.
Okay. But that I remember whenever she was in that carriage ride, I was thinking the whole time, like I wasn't sure if it was gonna be like, you know, same beat, different drum kind of thing with like an enemies to lovers plot, or if they were
Mm,
actually gonna like pawn her off on someone totally evil and we were gonna watch her destroy this kingdom. Like I think I was kind of hoping that she would actually be pawned off on someone horrible rather than the enemies to lovers trope. Because like even when I read
yeah.
an enemies to lovers trope, like I do end up loving it, but I would love something more creative. So what did you think whenever during that carriage ride?
I don't really know exactly because like I kind of knew he wasn't going to be like the evil monster that they were describing him as
Right.
because that's always what happens. Like they
Right.
build it up and then you
Yeah.
get to the character and you're like, okay, so this was all a lie. Like
Right.
obviously he's not a monster. He's actually a very caring man.
Surprise, he's in his mid-20s and he's beautiful and has a heart of gold.
Exactly.
The masks is something that really
The
like
masks.
we really dropped that like it was nothing. It
I
was
was
built
literally
up
about to say.
so yeah, it was built up so hard, and then it was like the second they're like, "Oh, she's actually a woman. It's fine," and they just like were like, "No more masks." I
No
just
more
thought that
masks,
was like
literally.
yeah, it was built up so for so long that I really expected this to be like, you know, when the mask is shed, it's like a big deal, but it just wasn't.
Yeah. And like they only brought up the mask twice. So when they first met her, when they were getting married, and then there was like a second time that they put the masks back on.
Yeah.
Just like, okay.
Yeah,
Kind
it
of
felt
wanted
like
that
there
to be
was
like something, but
me too. It felt like there was like some like there was a couple times where like certain things were built up like they were going to be important. And then it was just kind of like, oh, we've got other things to worry about, but we'll leave it in anyways. You know?
oh, I don't know why this made me think of it, but
I'm ready.
okay, I don't here. It is like storming today. It's raining,
Mm,
it's gross, it's whatever.
same.
I was thinking to myself, I was like, this is like the perfect weather to do this podcast because the
Yes.
entire fucking book, they're literally always in a storm. This was
Yep.
like huge in this book. Like
Yeah.
storms and like it's always raining and all this crap. I'm
Yeah.
like, I wouldn't be able to survive. I wouldn't. I
No,
wouldn't do
just a
it.
little drowned rat. But
Like literally the entire time. It's like, okay.
yeah, but I did like that juxtaposition of the settings though. Like I loved how like Lara was like, born in a sand pit
Oh
basically and then
yeah,
had this
yeah.
like deathly fear of water and then she was just like in water at all times as
At
soon as
all
she
times.
moved. Yeah. Yeah, I thought
And
that was really cool.
I loved that the author really talked about how like her weakness was like not being able to swim because
Yeah,
it's such a thing. And I mean, growing up in the desert, how would she be able to learn how to swim? And I
right.
loved that she just kept like adding on to that and like
Mm, me too. Cuz that
loved
was
that fact.
that's one of the things that like the trope that I get very scared of is like the Mary Sue character. Like I didn't want her to be so unbelievably flawless as like an assassin, as
Uh-huh.
like a spy, as an actress,
Yeah.
as whatever she even tries at. And so I like that there was this like mortal weakness in her, like it defining
Yes.
weakness. Yeah.
And not just that one weakness, like, I loved this character because she
Mm.
was I don't wanna say relatable because, like, how can you relate
Yeah, I
to
do not relate to
someone like
Lara.
that? I don't relate to her either, but the way that she was written, it was kinda like, um, I don't know, she made mistakes, and she
Hmm.
had to live with the consequences. She had to, like, fight back. I don't know. I
Yeah,
just
no, I
loved
agree.
how flawed she was.
Me too. No, I thought her development was really cool to watch, and I love that it wasn't like through like from beginning to end. She didn't like actually 180 as a person, and which is something that you
Mm.
see a lot in these books. Is that it's just like okay, they start out and they're fragile and weak and they have no idea, and then like suddenly they're so strong. But like
Yeah,
her, it
yeah.
was like it was kind of it wasn't a degradation in her strength or anything, but it really like she actually really did build character in like a reasonable pace, I felt.
Mhm. Yes.
Um
I thought everything in this book panned out in, like, such the perfect pace of stuff.
mm,
Like, something was always happening, but it wasn't so overwhelming that you were like, "Wait a second, this just happened, and then this happened." At least that's how I felt. Like, I loved the pace that she went because you were always on the edge of, like, having a panic attack, but at the same time, you were like, "Wait, wait, this it's gonna be fine." I
yeah.
literally told you when I told you to read this book, didn't I say like this book will give you anxiety, like
Yes.
panic, like that's how I felt the entire time because I was
You
like,
were
what the
correct.
fuck? it's,
Mhm.
like, it's like this author is just constantly just throwing shit at you that this character has to like overcome or like and the fact that you're seeing both is it Aaron? I was calling him Aaron. That's how you
Yeah,
say his
yeah.
name, right? That's how
Yeah.
you would pronounce it.
How else would you pronounce it?
I don't know. You know my dyslexic ass. I'm like, oh, let's see how you pronounce this.
Okay. Yeah, Lara and Aaron. Yeah.
And so I loved how we saw both of their like points of views basically because each chapter was
Mm,
like him and her. So it was very interesting. Wait, that was like that for the first book, right?
I don't think so.
Was it just her in the first book? Because I know it was the
Think
two of them
so.
in the second book.
Yeah, I think it was just her in the first book.
Oh.
I hope I'm
Well,
not
it was
making that
both.
up.
I think you're right. I don't know. Let me look it up just in case. All I know is in the second book, we had Aaron's like point of
Yeah,
view
because they were
because
actually
of the whole
separated. Hmm.
yeah. Oh no, there are some chapters of just him, but it's mainly her in the first book.
I don't remember that at all.
And then in the second book is they were like switching every chapter. I
Yeah.
have written down. I have a question, a little
Okay.
world development type of deal. Okay, so when they described the bathing chamber or like wherever they bathed,
Yeah.
what did you imagine?
Okay. So this, I actually just like loved the way this was built up, at least the way I had it in my brain.
Yeah.
So, okay, so I imagined, in the castle in Midwatch, right? I think it's
Yes.
Midwatch that they're in.
Yeah.
Yeah, so in the castle, like, or whatever house that they're in, their rooms are like, I don't know, near each other in the hall, I guess. But then they have their own thing. And whenever they're going out to the bathing chamber, it is like an outdoor thing. Like it's
Yes.
a hot
Okay.
spring between
Yeah.
their two rooms that the doors lead to under the sky
Okay.
and in the jungle.
That's how I saw it too. And
Okay.
I loved that.
Yes.
So they were
I
just like
love that too.
outside bathing. It's just there.
Yes, and that was like, oh my God, that flirty scene that they had whenever she was like, she realized that she needed to like pull him in more or whatever. So she actually was kind of flirting with him and she was like, like, leave your supplies, basically, leave the towel, leave the
Oh
soaps and
yeah, yeah.
stuff. I was
Yeah.
like, oh, bitch, okay. Like, I wanted so much more. Like, I wanted them to have like more physical moments with each other where it was just like kind of
Yeah.
exciting teasing, you know?
Yes. Oh my God. Wait. The one scene where they're sitting, are they playing cards?
Okay.
And they're like talking and they're asking, or they were starting to ask questions to each other.
Uh-huh.
And he was like asking her what her favorite
Favorite
color
color
was or
was,
something like
yeah.
that. And then she just was straight up just asking her questions
Yeah.
to try and like help herself.
Yeah.
But what did he do? Did he just get up to like lean over her and she put her foot on his chest?
I forgot. Yes.
I was like, bitch, that's a power move.
Yeah. And it's
Like,
specifically,
yes.
oh my God, I can't believe I forgot about that because it actually talked about like her skirt riding up all the way as well.
Yeah.
And I was like,
Yeah.
oh my God, loved that.
Oh my God. Taking notes, okay?
Yeah. So I can shove my significant
Like,
other
got
away with my
it.
foot.
This is the only way I know how to flirt is to read about it and just copy other characters' actions in real life. Speaking of, I don't want to say like flirtatious stuff, but okay, so the dinner, was it the first dinner that they all had together and Laura just decides to poison or drug them?
Yeah.
I was like, oh, I really thought
Audacious.
I thought it was gonna blow up in her face.
Me
I was like,
too.
oh, honey, this isn't gonna work. But when she has to get naked to go up to his room and like start looking at stuff, and he wakes up and
Yeah.
he's thinking that he's dreaming.
Yeah.
There was a chapter in there from his point of view, because from his point of view,
Oh.
he was like, he thought he was dreaming.
Yeah.
And he was
Yeah.
like, of course, I'm dreaming of her and like her perfect body and blah,
Yeah.
blah,
He
blah.
said she was too perfect. Of course, it was a dream, that kind of thing. Yeah.
Yeah. And then she's just like, improvise. She's like, let's just coast him back to sleep. Let's go ahead and try
So funny. Yeah, let me just dry hump him until he falls asleep.
yeah, like that works.
That's how it works. Yeah. What did you think? Okay, so visually, how did you imagine Aaron? Because I had him wrong, of course.
So the covers of the books on
Yeah.
the Kindle version,
Mhm.
that's basically how I saw him, because,
Okay.
I just started
Fair.
how'd you imagine him?
See, listen, this is my issue. I just any character description, I just throw out the window and decide whatever I want, apparently. Unless it's made really strong. But for him, like, I straight up imagine him with like sandy blonde hair. But he looks almost exactly how
Really?
Hawk is described in
Yes.
Bridge Kingdom. Like,
Yes.
he's supposed to be just giant with dark
although-
shaggy hair.
I imagined his hair longer than Hawk's.
So like, how long are we talking?
Although I
Like
don't
my
really-
length?
No, just
Really?
like maybe hitting the shoulder. I look at a lot of fan art. So, and every fan art's different. So at this
Sure.
point, I have like 100 different versions of what this guy could look like. It's just
That's nice
a
though.
matter
I
of
like
picking
that.
which one I want.
Yeah.
But there's not a lot of fan art for the Bridge Kingdom, which makes me sad because there should be.
Yeah,
But-
it is really good. And while we're on description, I would love to bring up the fact, and you and I have talked about this separately, but I need to say it here as well. Why is everyone white? What is this about? It is a desert
don't know.
kingdom and a jungle kingdom, and this bitch is blonde, blue-eyed, and
With-
white.
Yeah.
I was like, why?
It's not right.
This is
not
the
right.
ideal set of climates to have made a glorious black princess. Like,
Yes. Yes.
who are you like, what are you? And like her brother as well, fully imagined him black, even though they're biological brother and sister. Like he is
Yeah.
black in my brain, and I will not see him any other way.
Okay, I have such a, oh my God, okay. I have written down. I love that the whole time Aaron is doing everything he can to try and sway his people that Laura is now his wife and assuring her that he doesn't plan to make her life worse because he already knows that she married him out of like this treaty. And I have, he's a good man. Just that one line, he's a good man.
That whole lead up to just be like, yeah, we like him.
Yeah, he's all right. He's just
Yeah.
a good man.
Yeah, I do. I really like him. And like the thing that I was really shocked about with Lara was like, and maybe this was actually a really good plot device of like her conflict and everything, but like whenever he nearly fucking died from like that
Which
battle,
time?
like the yeah, honestly, the skirmish that was like on the beaches or whatever, and he got taken away and he came back super injured. And she was like helping to like hold it. This was also a scene where I was like, are they laying down? Are they standing? When he was injured, and she was just like stabilizing him in some way. And then after that was like taken care of, they were like, she ran out into the rain, and he like dropped to his knees begging her to like stay or not to do something
Yeah.
evil or something. And that is what made her go and like write that invisible ink shit on the back of every paper. I don't understand that decision.
I think it's because that's the moment that she realized that she was hardcore falling for this guy. She was like, no, that shit can't happen. I have to shut this shit down. Like, I have a duty to my kingdom. And then later on, you find
Even
out
though
that
she'd seen everything already, though, to be like, these people aren't evil. Like,
I know. But at the same time, I kind of got it, though, because at the same time, it's like she still didn't know the truth about, like, her father trading, like, the metal and stuff. Like, she didn't understand quite yet why Aaron wouldn't do everything that he could to feed her people, basically. It wasn't until, like, after she wrote those fucking letters, I was like, this is it. This is what's gonna happen.
So mad about this.
Oh, and the way the way that she set it up. The way that she set it up where he wrote a letter and then put it in his drawer away from all the other blanks.
So good.
And then Laura wrote all on the blanks, and then that night he took the letter out and then started a new one, but kept that letter out on the pile. Like, so she didn't even think twice about, like, when she destroyed them.
Yeah.
She was like, they're all there. Like, what happened?
Yeah, she counted.
Yeah.
And I remember, because I remember when that happened, and it was setting the whole thing up, and she was writing all this stuff. Like, I was furious at her anyways for writing all of this, especially because I didn't like, I wouldn't have made a good spy, basically. But when she was doing this, I was surprised that it was like, I was like, oh, she's going to write it on all 26 sheets, not just one, like not just the top one or whatever. And I was like, that's so smart. I would never have thought of that. But then like she had counted, and I was like, okay, we know the number. And then it went on long enough that I was like, maybe the letter didn't get sent, or maybe this wasn't an issue. Because like, especially the thing that I have an issue with was the severe unlikelihood of that letter actually getting delivered, because I remember specifically that I held on to this piece of information so that I would feel safe. And it was that Aaron went and wrote that letter because he had finally decided that he loved her and was telling the fucking King of Meredrina to back off. But it was like he sent that and he said, you know, take this to this kingdom, whatever, immediately. And then there was a huge, like, monumental, like, historical storm that happened after that. And so, like, the carrier definitely could have died in that storm.
Yeah.
Or the letter could have gotten lost or something. And I was like,
I didn't even
let
think
it
about
be
that.
Lost. Oh, I was hoping against all hopes.
And that whole storm, like, that was when she went back to destroy the letters, and she destroyed them all. And then they had that fucking moment. Oh, and then they have sex. I'm pretty sure they had sex after that too. Yeah. And then for like days after
the hurricane. They were in the eye of the hurricane.
Yeah. So fucking cute. And then days after that, they were just like together. They were just so like finally happy.
They were so happy with each other. And I was so mad.
Just wait.
Oh, I was so upset.
Okay, the whole bridge shit.
Yeah, let's talk.
The way I imagine this bridge, like sometimes they're inside the bridge, sometimes they're on top of the bridge, sometimes they're like outside. I'm like, what the fuck? How? What? I can't imagine this bridge.
I'm so
Like I
confused
couldn't
by it.
picture it. I'm so confused too.
And like I don't know what material it's made of because it seemed to be shifting a lot. Like, okay, let me just paint a picture for you. In my brain, this bridge is like essentially some sort of like obsidian tube. Like
Yes.
it's like black marble, like huge black marble chunks kind of thing. And it's and like
Chunk.
that I,
Did you
the
say
technical
chunk?
term. but but these like big slabs of
Yeah,
thick
yeah, I get
material,
what you're saying.
and
Mhm.
and and it's like a tube on the inside that can be like walked through, and that's where shit is like transported or whatever, and that's why people get like lost because there's no windows or anything, so it's very tubey. But then there must be some, like, in my brain I know the top has to have some sort of like railing thing, but I just imagine it as like a smooth sided thing that you can fall off on. Like,
Yes, that's what I
like
thought
I don't
too.
see it as a functioning above bridge at all. Like,
No. And like they were even talking about how like they would have carriages and like horses come with like all their supplies and stuff. I'm like, okay, how wide is this thing? How big
it's
is
got to
this
be
fucking
wide.
bridge?
I did imagine it wide.
And they were on this bridge or like around this bridge so much in the book, which I mean, hello, the Bridge Kingdom, of course, whatever. But the entire time I was just like I was just like annoyed by it because I was like, I
I
don't
don't
want
understand it. I don't
yeah.
see it.
Like this is annoying. Just get to the sex. Let's just Oh, also,
Yes.
a lot of people were saying that this book was spicy. I'm like, bitch, there was like what, one sex scene?
We've read A
It's not
Court of Silver
spicy.
Flames. We know what spice is.
And like right now I'm reading Gilded Bones, which hello, every 5 seconds
Yeah.
they're fucking having sex in the book. And I'm like, Jesus Christ. Again, but we'll
I'm on
talk
board
about
with
that
it.
in a different episode.
We will. We will.
The grandma.
Yeah, the
This
grandma.
grandma was a fucking savage. She
She
knew.
I thought she was a character that was a savage that I was gonna like, but I just didn't. Like I
You
just
didn't
thought
like
no, I just thought she was like, I mean, I like her as like a character. I thought she was like pretty well developed, but I hated
hmm
talking to her. Like I hated all experiences surrounding her. I hated that,
hmm
like, even though she was a spy for the harem and knew how bad everything was, that like she still was just so impossibly mean to Lara. Like she was so mean to her. And I was just like,
so mean.
why?
And I think
But
it's because she knew, because she was a spy for
yeah.
her kingdom, like Laura's
Mm-hmm.
kingdom. So it's like, I don't know. But it made me very happy when Laura gave her fucking shit
The
to make her
laxatives.
have
Oh my
diarrhea.
god.
She's like, I'm dying.
I thought that was so
To like,
clever.
now what did she even do? She like went out to go look at the bridge and like try and figure out shit, which I
Mm-hmm.
honestly didn't care about. I was just like, go look at the bridge. I don't care.
Well,
Uh.
she started to overhear like Aaron and Jor and everything as well, because like they made their way back to the grandma's house at that time.
Oh, I
So it
don't
was like
remember that.
exciting to get more of them in there. But yeah, no, every time that she like, I don't know why. It feels audacious of me to have been like, I don't want any more of this espionage shit. I was like, we know she loves him. Why can't she just be good now? But like, the
Why
main
can't she just
plot
be good?
line.
I had something. Oh, I wanted to talk about how I. This is just another reason why I love this book is because there was no. This was like one of the first books that I read that wasn't like fantasy based, like where they had like powers or magic or something like this. This
Oh
was
yeah.
just purely a book about freaking like politics basically and like destroying
Mm.
kingdoms and like there was like trading. Like I've never read a book about like one of the main points being about trade.
No?
Like this was literally about trade, about
Yeah, that was a
how
huge point.
okay, the one scene that really stuck out in my head because it was just so cute was when they were coming back from a battle, I believe.
Mhm.
And it's when she was helping um the wounded, like she was pulling the wounded back from the
Yeah,
shore that they
yeah.
were fighting on. And that's when like everyone started not appreciating her, but like kind of like, oh, okay, so she's not that bad. If she's helping us out,
Mm-hmm.
then she can't be our enemy.
Yeah.
But I don't know if they were coming back from that battle, but they went to like that little cabin place and they all like spent the night there.
Oh
And
yeah, yeah.
she got the bed and Aaron was like, I'm just gonna sleep on the floor right here. And then like in the middle of the night she like tapped on him to like
Yeah, I
so
love
he could
that
like come
part.
up to the bed.
Hmm.
All while there was people fucking above them and
I
they were
thought that
just
was
like
hilarious.
laughing. It was
Yeah,
just so fucking cute. I was
that
like,
was
it's the
cute.
little things.
He was such a sweetie though. Like he was such a sweetie that whole time. And
The whole time.
I felt so confused because he's built up in this like badass warrior kind of way, but like every time he comes home, he's like half dead. And like anytime that he sees her fighting, he's like, that's literally not possible. And it's like, are you supposed to be kind of equals? Or you just
Yeah.
have really low expectations for her? Like, I wasn't
I feel
sure
like it was
which.
probably that. And I don't think he knew what he was expecting when he
Definitely,
was
yeah.
gonna get married to her, but it was definitely not what she was.
Yeah, for sure. But even after he knew, it still felt like there was like a thing where he was like, so she can fight, but it was like, oh, but she can fight. And it's
Yeah.
like, you know.
You
Like
know.
the first thing she did was take out those fucking guards on the beach. Like that was one of the
Oh,
first things she did.
yeah, but he didn't see that.
He
Like
didn't see it,
nobody
but he
knew that
saw the
she did that.
bodies were around.
Yeah, I know. It's like he went back and he was like,
Put two and two
these
together.
guards are down.
They just dropped dead of their own accord. They were killed themselves with their own weapons.
When he is starting, or when Laura is starting to like learn the truth about her father and like his plans and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
When Aaron and them go to like the beach with all the fucking snakes,
Snake
and
Island or something,
he's like,
right?
watch what I can do. She's
Oh
just
my
like, you're a
god.
child. You're a straight up child. He's like,
Yeah.
I can run on this pier and make
Why
it to
did
this.
he do that? What was his
I
reasoning
can't
for that?
remember why. I don't know. It was something.
It was
Weren't
something
they
stupid.
fighting?
They were.
Fighting
And I
about
don't
something. I
remember
don't
what it
remember.
was about, but I do remember thinking, I was like, you fucking idiot. I was like, you are
I
absolutely
think
going to die right now.
it was after she wrote the letters too. So she wrote the letters and then they went on this little adventure to Snake Island. He did the thing. And when she shot the arrow of the snake,
So
and he
cool.
was like, what the fuck was that? And I'm just like, is she what?
Yeah, honestly, what a little dummy.
He's like, you can shoot an arrow? And she's like, yeah, I can, you dumbass. He was like,
Yeah.
she's just like, I saved your life, you little shit.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Meanwhile, and the fact that they leave them in the water, they just leave them to fight it out. And then when they come
I
back,
absolutely loved that. I thought that was great.
they're like, we're gonna give you some space so you guys can figure out your own shit.
I just love that. I thought it was so clever because, like, he just like his personal guard. What was his name? Jor? Or am I confusing? Yeah.
No, yeah.
So whenever Jor was like, "We're gonna let this marital spat just play out, and like we'll be back. We're gonna do a circle." I
Do a
thought
circle around.
It was amazing. I was like, that is so clever. Just make them like deal with it because, like, how many times have you and I bitched about miscommunication being an issue?
Yes.
And this one, it was like, no, fucking duke it out right now.
I know, and I loved it. I
was like,
loved
yeah.
it so much.
Yeah. No, I was very here for that.
Then after that, they went to, where'd they go? Didn't they go back to, what was it, Merdrina? Was that her kingdom? They went there so that she could learn the truth. Because as soon as they, like, rounded up, they were like, okay, we're back. He's like, we're taking her home, basically.
Mhm.
Like, she needs to learn the truth. And when they get at the bar, and he starts flirting with the
barmaid spy.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And Laura's just like, I hate you right now.
She
and
was
I'm like,
so mad.
He knows exactly what he's doing. So that whole chapter though, or like that whole scene,
the end was so good
of her running or walking to the castle, and him and Jorah, I think, were like following her.
Yeah.
And she gets to the gates and she's just standing there.
He was about to kill her.
All the while, he's got a fucking arrow pointed at her, and he's just like hoping in his head. He's just like, don't fucking do it. Don't fucking do it. He's like, I don't want to kill you. He's like, because I love you. And then she just turns around and starts sprinting back. I'm like, oh my God. was like wiping the sweat off my brow. I'm like, Jesus Christ, this
Yeah.
book.
I also love that, like, whenever we find out later what she was thinking about in that moment, because I thought she was potentially going to be confessing as well, but she was trying to find a way to get in there to murder him.
Murder
Like,
him. Yeah.
she wanted to go in and kill him, and like they didn't
Yeah.
know that they were like that's what she was thinking. And because I didn't even know that's what she was thinking either. I thought she was going into, blab. But oh my god,
Yeah,
no.
that's what I thought too.
Such a cool moment there. And I love how affected he was by it as well. Because didn't he like turn and throw up after that was over?
Yes.
Yeah.
He's like, just imagine like being in his, like, he's got this whole kingdom of people that he has to care for. All the while, like, he's got his wife who he knows is a spy. And
that he's
he
falling in
loves her
love
so
with.
much.
Yeah.
And that he was willing, like, he was going to shoot her and kill her
Yeah.
to keep his kingdom safe. But in his heart, he was, if he shot her, oh my god, he'd be destroyed.
Oh yeah.
I don't know how he would. Lord.
Yeah. It would have sucked even worse as well. Because like she needed that redemption arc, because that was after the letters were sent. And so like if he had just killed her, and then like he was like, oh well, I was right about her. I was just too late. Like that would have been awful.
Oh, when they were coming back from her kingdom after she learned the truth and she almost, tried to kill her, or almost got killed herself because Aaron was going to shoot an arrow in her back. When they got back, that's when they went on top of the bridge.
Which we're so confused about that setting still.
Yeah. Why on top of the bridge?
Is it curved? Huh? Is it like, how wide is it?
How did you get up there in the first place from the water?
Like, also what I would like to know. Yeah. Very confused about this bridge.
Up there. Yeah. But he took her up there so that he could, like, get a final answer from her. Like, finally get her to say, like, yeah, I'm a spy. And she did, didn't she?
Yeah. They were like, she was on the verge of admitting it. And I think something happened. And then the party all came up to the top as well.
Yep. And that's when Anna came up.
Anna, oh my gosh.
Anna, the girl who at the beginning of the book, when Laura was, like, passed out from them bringing her through the bridge, she was just trying on her clothes. Like, just straight up.
Anna was such a weird character. She was so strange.
This girl's gonna be cool. But no. I was like, wow, we really did a
hard turn.
180? Would that be? I don't know.
Yeah, I was I don't even know, like, how she didn't, like, it was an accident that she pushed her off the bridge, because I remember her saying that, but I don't know how it was.
The way I imagined it was, I think Anna was, like, basically saying how we couldn't trust Laura. Like, she was,
Mm-hmm. Did it start raining?
I think so. And then
she slipped.
Facing.
I don't know. I can't remember how it happened. Sorry, you go.
Okay, so I'm imagining, like, the way it's set up is Aaron, Anna, Laura. So, like, Anna's in the middle of both of them, and she's facing Aaron. And when Laura tried to, like, intervene, I like, imagined her stepping towards her, and Anna just, like, swinging her arm out and knocking her off the bridge. That's how I imagined it.
Okay.
And her just falling in the water, and then Aaron, like, jumping in to save her.
I was convinced she was
dead. The bitch can't swim.
I was like,
sharks everywhere.
Yeah, I was 100% convinced that this is how Laura died. Like, I was like, how do you even, like, when people commit suicide off bridges, let alone when they get, like, pushed off them. Like,
how far is this bridge up? Like, how?
I imagine it to be so tall. This is another thing. I don't know where this bridge is. I don't know how high it is from the ocean. The tide has to come in and out. It seems like a very violent sea, so it has to be pretty high. There's, like, hidden ladders and shit. Like, I have no idea. And, like, it seems like the way that they pulled them up and everything seemed like it was a very long journey. Like, so I don't know how she didn't immediately die on impact. Like, genuinely have no idea. But was shocked when she fell. Yeah. I was like, I was like, this bitch is dead. And then Aaron died after her.
Yeah. Oh, He's such a good man.
Back full circle. He's a good
Yep.
man. So Marilyn at the end destroyed me.
You know what? That kind of pissed me off a little bit. Okay, so
Okay. Tell me about it.
they're having a lovely time. You know, they're enjoying each other's company, being husband and wife, rolling over this kingdom. And all of a sudden, this bitch shows up, and you're just like, of course you fucking would, bitch. Like, of course. But that's not what pissed me off. What pissed me off was the fact that Laura killed her so easily. And I'm just like, this girl was supposed to be like the pick. She was supposed to be the one to take down the kingdom.
That was like superior in every way.
Yeah. And then she's just all of a sudden Laura just kills her like that.
Yeah. She would never have thought of a snake. Yeah.
That is very true.
But at the same time, like that's super yeah, like that's super convenient that she wouldn't have thought of that. That would be enough of like for that to have been enough of a distraction would be insane because like these girls were literally like buried in the sand alive. Yes. Like they've been fully tortured. Like a snake latching on wouldn't have killed her immediately, and she definitely would have just like, I don't know, like cut it off or something. Like she would have done something remarkable in that way because these girls were just like monsters in their own right. So yeah, I totally agree that it was like over way too easily.
Tumbling out and then her just snapping her neck and it just being over. And I'm like, oh, okay.
Yeah, a bit of an anticlimax as far as like foes go.
Yeah.
Was also surprised though that it was her. I didn't expect Marilyn to be evil.
I was too. Yeah, it's just like,
I was so sad about the servant boy dying. Sorry.
Wait, did he die?
She murdered him. Marilyn murdered him and the mom and sister cooks.
Oh my god, I must have skipped over that because I had no idea that they
coming
were
out from under the bed and they saw his hand.
Oh my god! Yeah, definitely did not.
No, I clocked that because I was really upset about it. I was like, he was so sweet.
They all were. They took such good care of her. Ugh, when the secret's finally out and like, well, not like the secret of her writing the letter. Like the letter coming out and Aaron, oh my god, the ending when he's like yelling at her and like
just
telling
run.
her to leave. Yeah, and like, oh my god, again with this man trying not to kill his wife but really wanting to. Yeah. It's just like, oh, that my heart was just like breaking because it's like did she finally say that she loved him? Because she didn't say that she loved him until that moment, right? And he was.
That is one of no, you're correct. You're absolutely correct. And this is a plot device that is used a lot in YA books, and it makes me want to die. Like the entire so just to briefly go back to Akotar for a second, the entire reason that the curse wasn't broken and that she had to fucking die by Amarantha was because she didn't say I love you back. And it was like, bitch, you do. Like all of this, there's so many things. There's so many things that could be solved if people were just honest about their fucking feelings. And like, and no one in the history of like ever has ever had this certain circumstances that these characters have had, and then not said I love you.
I mean, they were spending months together after he said that he loved her, and she just never said it until that moment when he was like
weird
screaming at her because she fucked up. Like she brought this kingdom to his doorstep and now he has to save his entire kingdom. Like, I'd be pissed at you too, bitch.
Yeah, absolutely.
Don't say you love me now.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean anything to me at this point.
Timing. Yeah. No, that makes me furious as a device anyways. Like, I hear it and I'm like, why? Just say it. You know you feel it.
Yeah. I need to read that over again because, like, when I read it the first time, I was bawling. Because I was just like, we knew this was going to happen, but the way she wrote it was just like so impactful. Is that what I want to say?
It was.
I was like exhausted after reading it. Because
I was
like,
too. I was wrecked.
Emotions.
Yeah.
It's like, I can't. Okay, so that's all we have for today's episode. What did you think of the book as a whole? Actually, let's rate it. Out of 5, what would you rate the first book?
See, I feel like kind of guilty about my rating because like I know how much you love this book, but I feel
I really did.
like I'm gonna put it at like a 2.5, 3 stars kind of
Oh
read for me.
no. Oh my
Yeah.
god, 2.5.
Yeah, I was really disappointed with how like the racial thing I think is like absolutely
Oh
massive.
yeah.
I thought that
Yeah.
was really kind of non-negotiable for me. Feels like an intentional weird choice. And then also just like certain plot devices that were just like thrown away because like she built up so many good ones and she did follow through on them, but she also built up a lot of other ones that just like didn't have anything happen with them.
Yeah.
And like I can say that they weren't
See,
resolved in the second book either. So like it was just kind of like a wasted emphasis. So
yeah.
that's where it puts it down for me. But I do really like the characters and I like the settings and everything.
Mhm.
How about
Mhm.
you?
See, this was one of my favorite books, so I have to give it a 5 out of 5 stars.
A
I enjoyed
five!
this book. 5 out of 5. Giving it all
God.
5. I have to. It was just so good. I loved every second of it. Like, I mean, of course there are some things that didn't make sense or that I was like, what the fuck? But all in all, like I loved the pace of the book. I loved the
Mm-hmm.
story. I loved how she took like the different directions and the anxiety I felt the entire time. Like that's the first time
Yeah.
I ever read a book that was like had me literally on the edge of my seat the entire
What?
time. I
Oh
was
yeah,
like,
okay.
whoo, like sweating while reading. Like I was like, oh, this is the first, okay. So
Yeah.
yeah, 5 out of 5. It has to be.
Wow.
So, with that being said, thank you guys so much for listening to this episode of Just a Thought. Next podcast will be the second book in the Bridge Kingdom series, The Traitor Queen. So, make sure
Mm-hmm.
you guys listen to that one too, because we have lots of thoughts on that one too. I have a lot
Yes.
of thoughts on the second one. But yeah, thank you guys for listening. And this was Just a Thought.
Bye.
Bye.